Jonathan the tortoise, the oldest animal in the world, is still very much alive despite a crypto death hoax. Bob Marley's actual dreadlock was auctioned off and sold at over $30,000. And scientists have altered a plant to produce 5 psychedelic drugs. These are the weird stories on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast recorded by a man inside a closet. Here we go. The world's oldest animal, who also happens to be a tortoise, is very much alive despite a crypto death hoax. I don't know what a crypto death hoax is, but it sounds pretty terrible. Let's find out what that is so we can avoid it going forward. I don't want to be the target of a rumored crypto death hoax for sure. It says reports on April Fool's Day of the death of the world's oldest living land animal, which is a 193-year-old tortoise named Jonathan, were actually greatly exaggerated. Now, the good news is, the uplifting news is, Jonathan, the tortoise, is still alive and kicking on the island of St. Helena. In other words, reports of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. What happened here? The tortoise just took a nap and everybody thinks he perished? That's what happens when you're really old. You go to sleep in your chair and people start calling 911 on you. You got to start explaining yourself to the youth. I'm not dead. I'm just drooling on myself. I drool sometimes. I'm still alive. All right, well, let's get some more details on Jonathan. Thank goodness Jonathan is alive, by the way. I'm a big fan of Jonathan. You got to be, right? This turtle's been kicking it since before the telephone was invented. This turtle fought in the Civil War, I believe. 193 years old. I think he was at the Last Supper, right? So let's find out what happens. Turns out Jonathan, they thought he was dead. They rushed him to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead, but then transferred to a better hospital where they upgraded his condition as simply old and sleeping. Jonathan was interviewed about the situation, and he said, quote, I just ate a little devil's lettuce, which made me hungry, so I ate more of the devil's lettuce, which made me very sleepy, and here we are. Sorry for the confusion. Just joking, guys. We have here Ann Dillon, head of communication on the island of St. Helena. She said, this is just a hoax. I can assure everybody Jonathan is very much still alive. This is a very strange April Fool's prank. I'm just going to say as an aside, I don't know who benefits from joking around that the oldest land animal passes away. It's kind of a sick bit, but let's keep reading. It says, news of the Seychelles giant tortoise's demise spread rapidly on social media. We have somebody on X that was claiming to be a veterinarian who had worked with the reptile on the island in the South Atlantic Ocean between Africa and Brazil, said that he was heartbroken to announce the death of the gentle giant that, quote, outlived empires, wars, and generations of humans. This faulty post quickly accumulated nearly 2 million views, mostly outpourings of condolences for Jonathan the tortoise. But then this veterinarian went on Facebook and said he didn't even have an account on X. Something more sinister was afoot. There is a hoax, not even an April Fool going around. He wrote, the hoaxer is asking for crypto donations. This is a con. What? All right, let me break this down. Somebody goes on social media, impersonates Jonathan the tortoise's veterinarian. He's got his own veterinarian named Joe. The fake account was then asking for cryptocurrency donations for Jonathan. Wow, this is what scams are now, guys. They're so convoluted. It's just, I don't even know how you even get this idea to do this. Back in my day, we kept it real. We carjacked you. That was it. Now you got people like opening crypto wallets. They're waiting for some event in social media to capitalize on some donations, usually based around some calamity. It's so complex now, and it's no wonder that it probably works. Now, a little information about Jonathan, believed to be born in 1832. Just wrap your mind around that. 1832. At 50 years old, he was brought to St. Helena, that island, and the St. Helena government sent a photo of Jonathan taken on Thursday of him roaming the grounds of the governor's residence on the island, best known as the place Napoleon Bonaparte was exiled following his defeat by the British at Waterloo in 1815. It was the place where the former emperor of France died in 1821, about a decade before Jonathan is believed to have taken the first steps in what would become a very, very long life. And thankfully still alive despite the crypto bros and their scam. Crypto bros. Are crypto bros bringing anything positive to the earth? I mean, can we just round them up and drop them into a volcano? There's just no redeeming qualities at all for this garbage. Well, despite the effort of these crypto clowns, Jonathan thankfully is in pretty good shape for 193 years old. What's the key to longevity? They asked Jonathan, and he said, be a vegan and move slowly and have tons of gay sex. That's what he said. So remember, kids, eat your greens and listen to lots of George Michael. One of Bob Marley's dreadlocks is up for auction, and it's estimated to sell for tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah, believe it or not, this truly one-of-a-kind item, a piece of musical history, something that was part of one of the greatest rockers, in my opinion. Just fabulous songwriter and legendary freedom fighter as well, Bob Marley. It's one of his dreads. A dreadlock. It's 1.5 inches. It's a section of Bob Marley's dreadlock. It's being listed by UK-based company called JC Auctions with an estimated cost of 20,000 to 25,000 pounds, which is over 30,000 USD. All right, I got some questions before I make my bid. I can't afford $30,000, but I'll throw down a 50. I'll throw down a few sawbucks to get Bob Marley's dreadlock. I'm a big fan. Hey, question though, how do we know that it's real? Right? Are we sure? Before you start bidding, you might want to find out if it's authentic. Don't let them fool you. All I'm saying is before you throw down 20, 30 grand, you might want to make sure they don't even try to school you. Oh no. I think what we need is some DNA confirmation before the auction goes live, and I don't want to wait in vain for that, if you know what I mean. Not even really sure how you test a dreadlock for its DNA, but I'm sure there's a way to put it in a test tube and steer it up, little darling, steer it up. Come on, baby. Okay, enough shenanigans. There's an item description here and a photo I'm looking at. It says, the lock of hair was acquired by the consigneur as a teenager and is paired with a signature that reads, to Andrea, love Bob Marley. Well, I'm not sure who Andrea is, but probably somebody pretty close to Bob. Might have been his hairdresser. Maybe he just bought some ganja off Andrea and was like, I don't got any cash right now, but would you take a dreadlock? I mean, this is going to be worth some money in a few years. Man, imagine being so famous you can pay for stuff with your hair. That would be like so tremendous. You get the bill for the restaurant, and you just stick one of your dreads on there, pluck a couple nose hairs, sprinkle it on the receipt. There's not a lot of people in the world that could get away with this, but definitely Taylor Swift could probably buy a house with her hair if she wanted to. All right, now, as far as the history of this item that's up for auction, the dreadlock man, it says they are said to have been acquired. They? You mean the dreadlock? Does dreadlock identify as a they, them? I was unaware of that. They are said to have been acquired at the filming of the Top of the Pops at the BBC's television centre in London on June 22nd, 1978. It's listed as impossibly rare and, quote, the first genuine example of Bob Marley's hair to come up for sale in 20 years. The consigneur shares the following little anecdote. It says, back in the day, you were permitted to get on stage at Top of the Pops with the bands. After Bob Marley finished singing, myself and a friend went up onto the platform where he was performing. He was chuckling away, and I asked if I could take off a piece of his hair. He just kept nodding and chuckling and appeared amused by it, so I twisted a piece of his dreadlock off, and he, of course, gave me his autograph as well. I've kept it in my autograph album ever since. Are we supposed to believe this story? This is how the person got... I just walked up and said, could I have a piece of your hair? And he's laughing and nodding, and then I just twisted his hair off, and he just kept laughing and nodding. I don't know, it seems a little difficult to believe, but I mean, we all know Bob was, usually pretty high. He wasn't stupid, though. It says, in addition, the winner will also take home the Top of the Pops promotional flyer, which was inscribed with the wrong date by the original proprietor. As noted, a youthful error on the conseigneure's part reveals she wrote the incorrect date on the flyer. The filming actually took place June 22nd, 1978, not June 2nd. All right, so this consigneur, which this is the first time I'm seeing this word. Consigneur, I guess that's what they call a person who is putting an item up for auction, rather. I'm a little skeptical of the consigneur, is all I'm saying. It says, for this Top of the Pops event, Bob Marley and the Wailers shared the bill with Black Sabbath, Heatwave, Showadaddy Waddy. Showaddy Waddy? Never heard of that. Showaddy Waddy. Brotherhood of Man, San Jose, and Thin Lizzy. Wow. This is tremendous. Well, I would say you got Bob, Black Sabbath, Heatwave, and Thin Lizzy. That right there's enough. So many of those people have passed away. Well, Ozzy from Black Sabbath, Phil from Thin Lizzy, forget his last name, and then Bob, of course, and then the famous songwriter for Heatwave. Who was the guy's name? The guy who wrote a bunch of Michael Jackson songs, including Thriller. Rod Temperton. I had to look it up. Rod Temperton. It's a white English dude wrote Thriller. I mean, wrap your head around that. It says Bob Marley and his band's contributions accounted for a rendition of Satisfy My Soul, which is a song I absolutely love. I love so many of Bob Marley's songs, man. Even the early stuff like Crazy Bald Heads. I love Trenchtown Rock. I love the love songs, and the revolutionary tracks are so great. I mean, who could do it like this? Who could write a love song and a revolutionary song so well? I mean, usually you can do one or the other. This guy could do it all. And he wrote dance tracks too. Unbelievable. And so, it's coming up for auction, this dreadlock, and I can't tell if it's if this is gross or if I want it. But my birthday's the end of this month, so if you're looking to get me something special, Bob's dreadlock would be pretty tremendous. By the way, I forgot to mention that Bob Marley could rap, and Bob Marley could also scat. A tremendous scatter. There's a song called Crazy Bald Heads, where he goes, "Stilly doodle dip stip stop stip still you don't stop steeba dabba deeba day. Zadilly dilly 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 dip 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 stada dop stop stay do that way."
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kan du norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Scientists have altered a plant in order to produce 5 psychedelic drugs. It's the sound of science. Boop, boop, boop. Science. Scientists, they have engineered a plant to produce 5 powerful psychedelic compounds. Unbelievable. And just in time for my tax return. So this is just a tremendous boon. Apparently they took tobacco plants and figured out a way to produce these psychedelic compounds that are normally found in other plants, fungi, and animals. They're doing it in a single crop. They say that using plants to manufacture these drugs would be simpler and more sustainable than existing processes, making research into therapeutic uses of these and production of future medicines a lot easier. Oh yeah? Easier than producing 30 million hits of acid in your bathtub in one afternoon? I mean, that's what people used to do. I mean, growing mushrooms is not complicated either. Even a moron like me was able to do it. I did it twice. I guess my point is, science, we got enough psychedelics, all right? How about, can you just make tomatoes edible again, please? I'm just asking you, just make tomatoes edible. Please. I miss tomatoes that I could eat and enjoy. All right, I'm being hard on science, but I mean, at least they're doing this and not trying to figure out if crabs can break dance to disco. We have here some nerds at the Weizmann Institute of Science in Israel. They modified Nicotiana benthamiana plants. These are tobacco plants, basically, using a technique called a groin filtration, which involves using a bacterium to introduce some genes from other organisms into this tobacco plant. The modified plant then makes the proteins encoded by those genes, but the DNA isn't incorporated into the plant's genome, so the effect is short-lived. It says, with the addition of these 9 genes, the tobacco plants were able to produce psilocin and psilocybin, which is usually found in mushrooms, DMT from various plants, and bufotenin, and 5 methoxy-DMT compounds. Oh, that's the stuff that's from the poisonous toad there. Yeah, the stuff secreted by the Colorado River toad. Oh, wait, that toad that you lick to get high is from the Colorado River? It's called the Colorado River toad. I thought that toad was in Africa. I thought you had to go to the jungle to lick that toad. Did you guys know that people would go lick a toad's butt and get high? Did you know that was happening? Well, now you don't have to lick the toad's butt to get high. You can smoke this tobacco. This is like finally some legitimate wacky tobacco. This is the wackiest for she's. Hey, this sounds pretty helpful because it's also not easy to extract DMT from plants, but it sounds like you can get it easy out of tobacco. You can about just smoke your DMT right here from the plant directly. Just roll it up, light it up, smoke it up, inhale, exhale. Now we're flying. Plants could easily be altered permanently with changes that become inheritable, they say, but doing so could be problematic given that the compounds produced are commonly used as recreational drugs, according to one of the researchers. This nerd says, well, it's a little bit tricky. If we have it inherited and then people will ask for the seeds, we could do it also in tomatoes, potatoes, and even corn. Oh, amazing. You could get some psychedelic corn chowder. What? Imagine tomato bisque that gets you high. I'm dreaming over here. And when I'm dreaming, just let me sleep. Don't wake me up till my dream is complete. It says here the medical uses of psychedelic compounds are becoming more popular and better understood, according to the nerds. But harvesting them from natural sources risks populations threatened by habitat loss and overexploitation. The drugs are chemically synthesized for use in research, but producing them in tobacco plants, which are easily cultivated in greenhouses, would be much simpler. Well, when you put it this way, yeah, it's way easier to just grow tobacco from seeds, and now you got yourself some DMT or magic mushroom tobacco, whatever you want to call it. And then, you can smoke the tobacco or you can roll it up and put it in your butt. You can probably just roll up the tobacco in a tiny little pouch and put it in your mouth as well. Wow, this is kind of a crazy leap in science, I have to say, as far as recreational drugs goes. It's going to make things a lot easier and more accessible. I mean, cut to like 5 years from now, you're going to catch someone smoking a cigarette and be like, that tobacco's bad for you. It's like, no, this is from my holistic health regeneration program. It's I'm microdosing. Well, it was either this or suck on a poisonous toad's ovaries. Now, my article says this isn't the first time a research team used tobacco plants to synthesize a drug. In 2022, they used tobacco to synthesize cocaine. What? Discovering that it could produce about 400 nanograms of cocaine per milligram of dried leaf, about a 25th of the level in a coca plant. Wow, this is crazy. Can you add cocaine to the others and have 5 psychedelic drugs plus cocaine added to the... What would you call that tobacco? It's got to be a cool name for it. I like wacky tobacco, but that's a little corny. I can't think of a name. I'll tell you right now, though, if you're looking for volunteers to test the potency of this wacky tobacco, I'm in. I'm all in. My email's funnyjones@gmail.com, everybody. Hi-ho, my friends and loyal listeners of the Weird AF News podcast. I want to thank you for spending some time with me as I trudge along through these 3 bizarre stories. I hope you enjoyed them. By the way, thank you to people who sent me articles. You can send me stuff to funnyjones@gmail.com. Tomorrow's Florida Friday, so send over those Florida stories. That'll be very helpful. I want to give thanks and praise. Oh, give thanks and praise. Another just great Bob Marley song that puts me in a mellow mood. Mellow mood. Another great Bob Marley song. How about it, guys? I'm gonna throw in some Bob after this for sure. Might have a little afternoon delight. I got here. Somebody bought me a coffee this morning, so I just want to give them thanks. And it was Weston Holt, who I believe is one of my younger listeners, right? Weston Holt, aren't you like 15 years old or something? Well, Weston figured out how to buy me a coffee off my website, weirdafnews.com. And here we are. Weston wrote me a lovely message, too. It says, yes, it's me again, Jonesy. I just want to say you need a coffee. or the boner bear, honey. I mean, suit yourself. I mean, today's economy, people legit got to skittle, skedaddle, and steal food. I love that. Weston, I had no idea you were such a poet. Today's economy, people legit got to skittle, skedaddle, steal food. Yeah, I agree. We shouldn't worry about drug trafficking, Jonesy. We need to worry about sushi trafficking or something. Anyway, good luck with your life, man. Your biggest fan, Wes. Wes says he's my biggest fan, so can anybody top that? Yeah, I'll take your word for it, Wes. You're my biggest fan. Appreciate it, by the way. Thanks for being my biggest fan. Appreciate that. You guys can have a battle for the biggest fan if you want. Just a battle for the fandom. We'll do it. We'll do a live streaming of it on Patreon. How about that? By the way, if you want to buy me coffee or join the Patreon, go to weirdafnews.com. Pretty simple, weirdafnews.com. Joining the Patreon's pretty tremendous, by the way. Okay, I got an email, too, from Alex Donnelly, who sent me an article and said, gotta say, I love Weird AF News, Jonesy. I discovered it completely by accident thanks to asking for news from Android Auto on a commute one day. For quite some time, it was the highlight of my day going to a not-so-pleasant workplace. I'm in better circumstances now. Oh, great. I'm glad, Alex, that you're in better circumstances. Nobody enjoys an unpleasant workplace. It's terrible. It'll make you do things like overeat and get high at work. So I've heard. Alex writes, but I still enjoy listening to you every morning on my way to work, man. Thank you for doing what you do. Keep it up. I most definitely will keep it up, Alex. Thanks for that email. Amazing. Also, lastly, I want to give some love to Bree Hafford. Bree sent me a package. Did I mention this the other day? I don't think I did. Bree sent me a box of delights from Cincinnati, specifically chili. It's a Skyline chili, and all the ingredients to have the traditional Skyline chili, I guess the way they eat it in Cincinnati, which is chili with cheese, hot sauce, spaghetti, and you have a choice. You can add onions or beans to it. I'm going to add onions for sure. But yeah, there's like 2 cans of chili. There's spaghetti in there, hot sauce. It's just a tremendous package that I got. And so as somebody who adores chili, have so my whole entire life, my mom has been making chili ever since I remember, usually for football on Sundays. Just unbelievable. I always look forward to the chili. And, you know, I just dig chili. And although this is chili in a can, it's like special, I believe. And so I'm gonna make this weekend. Put it on. I've never had chili on spaghetti, I'll tell you right now. I have eaten chili on rice, done that. Never on spaghetti, though. Never even thought to do that, which is a tremendous idea. It's kind of like a meat sauce, like a marinara meat sauce when you think about it. But anyways, shout out to Bree. I mean, it just totally made my day to get a care package like that. If you guys want to mail me stuff like that, you want me to experience something that's very, special and unique to your area, be it a food, a beverage, or a pharmaceutical of some sort. Just kidding. We don't condone that. Don't condone that on Weird AF News. Don't condone pharmaceuticals. All right? Strictly plants from here on out. Anyway, if you want me to experience something unique, you think I might enjoy it, just I'm allergic to nuts. I just will say that. And I'm allergic to cats. So don't send me any nuts to eat, and don't send me a cat. I'm pretty much game to try anything else. So, just email me, funnyjones@gmail.com. Or you could reach me through my Instagram, @funnyjones. How about that? @funnyjones. This weekend for shows, I'm in Long Beach Saturday night. That's all I got so far. All that information is available on my Instagram, @funnyjones. Okay, we'll see you. Good luck with your life, man. Tomorrow, Florida Friday. Send me articles. Bye.